What if the milk sitting in your fridge right now is silently raising your blood sugar levels, and you don't even recognize it? And what if switching to the correct kind of milk may help stabilize your glucose levels, decrease harmful spikes, and support your body in ways most people over 60 entirely miss? But ignoring this could quietly make insulin resistance worse over time. Today, you're going to learn what to do differently, starting with something as easy as your daily milk choice. If you're serious about protecting your health after 60, treating diabetes healthily, and staying independent, make sure you subscribe right now before we go any further. On this channel, we interpret science-backed senior health ideas, morning routines for seniors, and useful ways to boost energy after 60, so you can live stronger, longer, and smarter. And remain with me because at the end of this video you will find out not just which milk to drink, but why timing, quantity, and mixes are even more important. The hidden issue. With milk and blood. Sugar. Most people consider milk one of the safest, most natural things you can ingest. But what if I told you that for someone managing type 2 diabetes over 60, the wrong type of milk might silently send your blood sugar higher every single day without evident signs? Imagine waking up tomorrow feeling more fatigued than normal, your energy level dropping earlier than it should, your concentration not quite as sharp. What if that healthy glass of milk you've depended on for decades is playing a secret part? If you ignore this, you might silently make your insulin resistance worse over time, and that's why it's so important to understand this initial portion before you make any adjustments. The way our body regulates glucose changes. As we age in ways most people are never really told. Insulin, the hormone that moves sugar out of your system, becomes less effective, a condition called insulin resistance. And as institutions such as Harvard Medical School have examined at length, this natural reduction means meals that formerly had little impact might now cause noticeable blood sugar rises. Take a moment and think. Have your eating habits remained the same throughout the years even though your body has changed? This mismatch is where many seniors inadvertently put themselves at risk. Milk is often one of the most neglected causes. This is where it gets even more startling. Milk naturally contains lactose, a sugar composed of glucose and galactose. It seems harmless, and in moderation it can be, but your body still metabolizes it as sugar, which implies every glass of milk can elevate your blood glucose levels. Imagine this. You pour yourself a glass of milk with breakfast, perhaps with cereal or toast. You feel good about the choice you're making. But soon enough, your blood sugar will spike and your pancreas will release insulin. If this cycle continues day after day, it gradually puts your metabolic system under pressure. Organizations such as the Mayo Clinic say recurrent rises in glucose over time are directly connected to worse diabetes control and higher risk of complications. Be honest with yourself. How often do you drink milk without thinking about it as part of your regular routine? And it doesn't end there. Many store-bought types of milk, particularly flavored or low-fat variants, have sugars added to them for flavor. These hidden carbohydrates can drastically increase the glycemic load, meaning your blood sugar spikes higher and faster than predicted. You think that you're making a healthy decision with low-fat milk, but then you end up consuming more sugar than you did before. This is a classic mistake. The American Heart Association provides more general dietary guidelines that indicate added sugars are a major contributor to metabolic imbalance, especially for older persons. Here is where even the health-conscious can be tricked, and the repercussions often go unreported until symptoms arise. Now look at how this plays out across time. Every increase in blood sugar may appear modest, almost trivial in the moment, but repeated day after day, these spikes can damage blood vessels, disrupt neuron health, and even have an impact on cognitive function. Think about your future self, 5 or 10 years from now. Do you want to be able to look back and realize that these little everyday behaviors were silently working against you? Or would you rather be in control now with easy, knowledgeable changes that keep the independence and vitality yours? This is the breaking point, and it starts with awareness. But the most essential thing, and I want you to really think about this before we go any further, is this. Is the problem milk? Or is the problem the sort of milk and how it's being used? Because the answer may shock you. Certain types of milk will work differently in your body, and some can really help with better blood sugar control when taken properly. In the next section, we're going to tell you exactly what types of milk are the safest, which ones to totally avoid, and how a simple switch might start to boost your energy levels nearly overnight. And what I'm about to share is something most people over the age of 60 haven't been told. Best milk options for blood sugar control. Now, that you're aware of how some types of milk might sneakily throw off your blood sugar. Here's the bit most people don't hear. Certain milk selections can actually help you level out glucose levels when selected correctly. But the difference between useful and detrimental typically comes down to one factor most people ignore. What if that simple decision may lead to steadier energy after 60 and improved metabolic control? Imagine stepping into your kitchen tomorrow morning, grabbing a different sort of milk, and observing your customary mid-morning lethargy just doesn't appear. This is where educated choices begin to influence outcomes. First up is one of the most suggested solutions for those with type 2 diabetes: unsweetened almond milk. Unlike dairy milk, it includes very little in the way of carbohydrates, therefore it has a negligible impact on blood sugar levels. Imagine your body digesting a beverage that does not create a massive spike in blood sugar, allowing insulin to perform its function better instead of being overwhelmed. Harvard Medical School often cites nutritional studies where lowering carbohydrate load, especially liquid carbohydrates, has been shown to greatly enhance glycemic stability. The hitch is that most people miss is that the phrase unsweetened is not optional. Many of the almond milk products on the shelf have additional sugars that totally negate the advantages. So pause and consider. Are you actually reading labels or simply believing what the package tells you? Now, let's take a look at another excellent choice that may catch many people by surprise: unsweetened soy milk. Soy milk has more protein than almond milk, which influences how your body reacts to it. Protein slows down the digestive process, so instead of all at once, glucose is released into your system more slowly. Picture drinking something that not only won't spike you but actually helps your body stay balanced. That's one of the reasons soy milk is so often mentioned in conversations about healthy living for seniors. Mayo Clinic notes that combining protein with lesser carbohydrate consumption may aid in minimizing glucose spikes post-eating. But here's a point to consider. Are you picking foods that just don't hurt you, or ones that actually provide your body with what it needs? Then there is lactose-free milk, which a lot of people think is automatically better for diabetes. That's where things get a little more complex. Lactose-free milk still contains the natural sugars, but they are broken down differently, which can make it simpler to digest. But that doesn't necessarily indicate less of an influence on blood sugar levels. You think you're making a healthier decision, but you end up seeing comparable blood sugar levels as regular milk. That's why it's important to understand the science of your diet. The American Heart Association's broader dietary recommendations emphasize awareness, not assumption, as the key to heart and metabolism-friendly choices. Now, this is something that often goes totally overlooked. Oat milk is hugely popular, but if you are not careful, it can be one of the worst choices for blood sugar control. It can often have more carbohydrates and spike glucose faster than you might think. Imagine starting your day with what looks like a healthy plant-based meal, only to have an energy collapse shortly after. This is a regular situation many seniors face without understanding the reason. So ask yourself honestly, have you switched to something trendy without really comprehending the impact of it? And that brings us to a deeper understanding that most people miss. It's not only about choosing a good milk, it's about choosing the perfect milk for your body, your routine, and your health goals. Imagine knowing every single time you make a decision which option is best for your blood sugar, instead of guessing. Why? Because in the next part, we're going to reveal the single biggest mistake that nullifies all of these benefits, even if you're drinking the best milk out there. And once you see it, you might never look at your breakfast routine the same way again. The number one blood sugar spiking mistake. Now, Here's the uncomfortable truth that even many health-conscious folks over 60 don't realize. Choosing the correct milk means very little if you're using it the wrong manner. And this one mistake is quietly erasing the benefits of even the best decisions we just talked about. You wake up in the morning, have a glass of unsweetened almond or soy milk, and think you've made a wise choice. But an hour later, your energy drops, you can't focus, and you wonder what just happened. But what if the problem isn't the milk itself, but what you're drinking it with? Ignoring this may be quietly keeping your blood sugar unstable, regardless of how healthy your choices look. The most typical mistake is mixing milk, especially low-carb milk, with high glycemic items such as refined cereals, white bread, pastries, or fruit drinks. When you eat these items together, experts call it a glucose surge. Think of a rush of carbohydrates hitting your body all at once, far more than it can handle safely. Your pancreas then releases a big amount of insulin all at once. The prevailing wisdom in nutrition, reinforced by institutions like the Mayo Clinic, is that these swift spikes and dips are a large part of the cause of weariness, cravings, and long-term insulin resistance. Stop and think for a minute about your average breakfast. Is it doing a good job of providing steady energy? Or is it setting you up for a crash? What is more worrying is how subtle the impacts can be initially. You may not see a big jump, but over time, frequent surges continue to damage blood vessels, put strain on your metabolic system, and increase the risk of complications connected with diabetes. Imagine your body working extra hard every morning just to deal with what appears like a simple meal. More broadly, cardiovascular and metabolic research from the American Heart Association shows that persistent blood sugar swings are highly correlated with the dangers to heart health, particularly for the elderly. So honestly ask yourself, are your behaviors preserving your future or silently sabotaging it? Another layer that most people ignore is size of the portion. Even the healthiest milk can pile up in carbs and calories if you drink too much. Imagine you pour a big glass without measuring, thinking that more is better. But that extra quantity can be enough to throw your blood sugar out of balance. This is especially true with elderly, because their bodies are frequently less tolerant to glucose. Stop and think about it for a minute. Do you know how much you're taking in, or is it just habit? And then there's timing, the most ignored component of all, perhaps. Milk on an empty stomach, particularly in the morning, is absorbed faster and causes blood sugar to rise faster. Think of your system devouring everything quickly with nothing to slow it down, and even a good choice can turn into an issue. Senior health and nutrition experts continue to stress the significance of matching carbs with protein and healthy fats to slow digestion and keep everything in balance. So, here is a simple question to ask yourself. Is your body getting the assistance it needs to deal with what you eat? But here is when the problem begins to turn into the answer. Once you see this mistake, you can start correcting it almost immediately, and you can start seeing the effects within days. What if you could plan your meals such that you have steady energy, a clear mind, and balanced blood sugar all day long? In the following section, I will walk you through exactly how to utilize milk strategically, when to drink it, what to match it with, and how to make it a great tool for healthy living for seniors. And what you are going to discover can fundamentally change the way you do your everyday routine. This is where we transition from knowledge to action. It's not simply the correct milk, but using it strategically to promote stable blood sugar throughout the day. Imagine starting your day with a protein-rich breakfast, mixing unsweetened milk with fiber and healthy fats. All of a sudden, your glucose response is slower, steadier, and a lot more controlled. This is one of the most ignored anti-aging regimens for 60+ that can make a huge difference in your vitality every day. Clinical sources like the Mayo Clinic highlight the need of balanced macronutrients in managing diabetes. Combining proteins and fibers with milk will slow absorption and reduce glucose spikes. So instead of just drinking milk, think about how you are pairing it. And here is something that most people are not aware of. Time is as important as substance, which takes us to a key insight that most seniors never hear about. Timing, servings, and long-term effect. Even the most wholesome choice of milk can be harmful if consumed too much or at the wrong time. For example, a late-night glass of milk can throw a wrench into nighttime glucose homeostasis. Imagine going to bed thinking you made a good choice, but your blood sugar remains high for hours. Over time, this can lead to weariness, weight gain, and worsening insulin resistance. Experts routinely cite portion control as a key to healthy living for seniors. Small, together with healthy meals earlier in the day, is far more beneficial than big, separate intakes. Just take a moment and think about it. Are your behaviors improving your health or steadily destroying it? In the last portion, I'm going to show you a powerful extra strategy that can amplify what you've learned thus far. Here's a simple, effective habit. Begin tracking your body's response. Awareness affects everything, whether it's through a glucose monitor or just by watching your energy levels. Picture yourself seeing patterns. Some foods that make you feel lethargic, others that keep you energized, and making changes as needed. This is how you take charge of your health, not guess. The top health agencies all cite research studies that suggest people with diabetes do better when they monitor themselves. And the best thing? Only a few minutes each day. So, before you leave, ask yourself, what modest adjustment can you do today that your future self will thank you for? So, here's the deal. No milk is going to miraculously erase diabetes, but the correct choices, made the right manner, will definitely help you control your blood sugar, boost your energy beyond 60, and safeguard your long-term health. And the distance between difficulty and stability is often made up of modest, consistent behaviors like these. If this was useful, please like this video, subscribe, and check out more of our work on senior health tips, morning habits for seniors, and the best habits for seniors at home. Your health is in your own hands. And the more you know, the more powerful and self-sufficient your future will be.